Another thing that we have learned in these 6 years of DreamRoot is the deep power of encouragement. When we start going into the communities, into these centers, and meeting people and meeting these leaders, you get there, you start connect with them, and you start working, you start seeing and dreaming new possibilities, right? What that it can be and how can we do to support and to help this group of people and this leader. And you start walking with them. And don't get me wrong, some of those things are actually deep challenging and that needs to be addressed. But what we have learned is the greatest need that these people in the community have, but it's not just them, it's for all of us, is actually encouragement. What we need is a group of people that is going to come alongside with us in the challenges and in the good, and in the highs and the lows. So how do we create an environment where everybody are coming alongside each other, encouraging and strengthening each other? And ultimately, that's really the power of community.
Yeah, this idea of how we can have the best ideas in the world, but the power of when somebody believes in you, and especially when somebody believes in you before you believe in yourself. And it's that the confidence in those pieces, or just that encouragement when, the nature of the work that the local leaders are doing in these communities, it is heartbreaking work. It is tough situations. It's things that in a lot of ways we don't even have a mental model we've never been confronted with in a lot of the places that, the developed world, let's say it that way. And so just the level of resilience that it would take and the mental and emotional fortitude to continue going. And a lot of times when you're doing this work, what we've seen, and this is why DreamRoot even exists, is this our mission of how do we come alongside and strengthen and empower the local leaders that are doing this work. So often we see them doing this by themselves. Without peers and even without a team. And we've seen then shortly after the burnout and the unnecessary challenges that come with that. And so how does that look like to create this network of leaders that are linking arms together, that are learning from one another, but the encouragement of coming together truly as that community that we were describing, that we can go further together. I think there's a proverb, I think it's like an African proverb, that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So how does that look like for us to be able to continue to build this network of leaders that have a similar vision and similar values, but to continue to stay connected with one another and the conversation open and creating enough vulnerability that we can speak into each other's lives and that level of trust. And again, it goes back to relationship.
Yes. One of the things that we hear all the time, and we know the importance, is resilience, right? To do life, to do the work that is being done, it is mandatory that we have a tremendous amount of resilience. The challenge is sometimes we think the resilience is just self-will. I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep going. And that's when we see burnout, crashing, and the things not going forward. And we agree the key element for the success of this work is resilience. But the foundation of that resilience is not self-will, is a community that will encourage, everybody's being encouraged each other in order that we can stick together with each other. We hold arms together and we are resilient together. It's not just one individual that is resilient, but it's creating a community that is full of encouragement that allowed us to encourage each other and ultimately to be resilient to do the work that is supposed to be done. This idea of resilience is self-resilience. It's not very realistic. Sooner or later, you will burn out. But if you have a community around yourself, you have a group of people with you, coming alongside with you, just like the same thing with us, for all of us, that we can go much deeper in the work that should be done.
Yeah, what you're describing there is, this false idea that we have of just muscling through something. And when we bring up this concept of resilience, for sure it's the community. And what I've seen from the community and the network of the local leaders, it's built the resilience. It's just simple things as though they get to learn from one another to see, oh man, you're going to sleep earlier. Just what does it look like for us to create physical routines for ourselves so that we are healthy and set up to be able to just show up well during the day, that when we get tired or we're not eating well, we start it physically going down, but then it starts to affect our emotions and it affects how we show up. And so these are kind of the things that we're seeing within this network of encouragement that we're describing, really is learning from one another, just different perspectives and different ways to approach life and how to create it in a way that's setting up to thrive and not to believe this lie that it needs to be hard. Yes, it's not easy work, but how can we be gentle on ourselves and set ourselves up well to be able to thrive and flourish so that then the work is sustained and
Yes.
multiplied moving forward.
And one of the things about these groups, this network that has been done, you tap in resilience because now you have a community and encouragement. But another great aspect of that, and I do believe this is part of what we're talking about, is also create accountability. Right? How can we be accountable for the things that we're doing, for the things that we're saying? So this network, this group of people going in the same direction, it helps with resilience, it helps with encouragement, but also holds each other accountable to continue to do the work that needs to be done.